This is a landscaping pro tip. This is repotting a plant into a bigger pot. So this is an easy way to do it. Planting a tree here. It's an avocado tree. It's overgrown. Put it in a new pot. What I did was I let some of the soil dry out. The trees are wilting a little bit, and then propped it up here. You can see on a board, both a 2x4 to hold this bigger pot up at an angle, and the sled board, I guess I'll call it the Sled Method board. And we're just going to slide it in. It makes it easy to take off the old pot and get it in the new one. So see how it goes. Propping it up kind of went off screen there, but got in there. It's mostly intact, and I'm dumping some more dirt in here. I'll fill it up with a mix of local dirt that's kind of been growing in and a nursery mix. There it is after some of the new soil put in there, and I'm gonna give it a good soak, water it all in, and hopefully it stays in good health, and we'll check back with this avocado tree soon. Right now it's standing about 5 feet tall, so we'll check it out later. Okay, here we go again. I feel bad for missing the real meat and potatoes in the action with my repotting of that larger avocado tree. So I'm gonna do it again with a smaller tree. Should be a better illustration, and I'll be able to do it with the camera, so you'll be able to see it as well. So as you can see, this is basically the same kind of setup that I was doing with the this much larger avocado tree in the other video. It was a little unwieldy doing it and camera at the same time, but now I've got it set up, and I think I'm going to give you a pretty good demonstration of how to do it. I've got the pot there with a mix of soil, and first thing I want to make sure that that new soil in the bottom of the pot is the right depth. So let's test it with our avocado tree before we try taking it out of its current pot. Looks good. You can see I got a prop on the backside. I got something for the pot to lean on the front side, so the pot should be supported while I make this transition. And I'm going to tilt it back, and of course the sled. Who can forget the sled? So I've got a smaller piece of scrap wood. You can use whatever you got around your place. A shovel can be used. Of course, a shovel will probably have a curve to it, and it's going to be shorter. I like using this sled. It's a little bit longer. You could even, if you had some support, use 2 shovel handles right here. It ought to be smooth enough where you can slide the plant down. But I'm going to get it adjusted, put my sled on there, and get this old pot off the root ball of the tree. Squeeze the pot a little bit and loosen up the soil, and shake it a little bit. These plastic pots, it's also easy to press the bottom in to push the root ball up and out. So there's our root ball. Now when I sled it down in there, you'll see how it goes. That went a lot smoother than the, I think it's a 20-gallon pot that we were using on that other bigger tree. So that's about how I like it. It's equidistant from the sides. That sled, we'll put it back in here so you can see, it leaves a gap. So this is a different one than I used with the bigger pot. A bigger pot would want a wider sled. I'll add some soil, go around the tree. Once the soil is about halfway up that old root ball, it's a good time to compact the soil. And if you want to mix in other soils, say you're using store-bought nursery mix or potting soil, it might be good, depending on what you're growing, to mix something with clay or sand in it, depending on the plant. With this plant, it's going to be okay with the mix that I've got. There was a amount of clay and sand soil that I mixed in for that bottom layer, a little bit more dense, and can always add some more. With the avocado, with the bigger avocado in the first scene, I did do layers, so that's one thing that you can do. Another thing is fertilization. This would be a good time to add a fertilizer if your soil has not already been fertilized. In my case, all these pots of soil have been treated, and they should be about how they need to be for good growth, at least while the plant is getting established in its new home. So I'm gonna top it off and give it a good soak. And there you have it. That's using the sled method to make sure when you repot a plant into a bigger pot, it stays centered, you don't damage the root ball, and hopefully make things as easy for you as possible while you're enjoying your time in the garden. So I think I'm gonna leave it at that, and of course thank you very much for watching, and I'm happy to share this time with you. Cheers. And there we are, the completed transition into a bigger pot. So this tree's gonna be pretty happy for a while anyway. It might have to do it again. It's gonna have to be like his big brother right here. This is the one that I planted in that first part of this video. And I don't know if you can tell, but I have added some other kind of soil in here. You can tell it's more light colored brown with the clay and sand that I've mixed in with it, and the garden mix in there. I'm starting to get a couple of weeds popping up, so this tree is doing great. You can see the top of it. And there you have it. Yeah, try the sled method out next time you're repotting plants into a bigger pot and see if it works for you. You can leave a comment in the comment section, and there's also a link in the description if you want to support me. I'll keep making cool videos sharing my landscaping and gardening pro tips. Cheers.